Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to The Last Stand. As always, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty coming to you from an undisclosed location deep in the heart of American flyover country. My co-host, Jay Campbell, is with me as always. And tonight, we're very honored, we're very privileged to have a man that really needs no introduction to this audience, but we're very privileged to have with us tonight Mr. Wayne Herschel. Wayne Herschel has a very, very interesting website, and something that really caught my eye is that Wayne says that he's been fortunate to have discovered over 40 solid academic archaeoastronomy correlation matching star maps of 3 sun stars with the Pleiades, using Orion as the cosmic signpost or the cross of Christianity to find the X that marks the spot. Now, these findings link all the famous megalithic ancient civilizations, and many have a repeating encoded alien message using none other than Vitruvian man. Wayne's here tonight to talk more about this, to talk about the hidden secret of who we are and who we come from and where we come from. Wayne Herschel, it's a pleasure to have you with us here tonight. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I suppose I could start with just the background detail here. This is an 1892 Bible printed by a Masonic publisher.
Wow.
People can see it quite obviously. If people know the stars of Orion, I mean, here's your Orion's belt, yeah, with a star
that's amazing
opening and a ladder coming down from it. I'll show images as we go along, but I mean, it's a long story. It's 20 years worth of correlated work. My beginning side, I suppose not many people like to hear about it when I'm talking about historical stuff. It's got a spiritual side. I had a near-death experience in my 20s of a motorcycle accident, and I had the proverbial out-of-body experience down the tunnel. But I came back with a lot more than I left with, and this is what I spent the rest of my life doing, just to see if that experience was a reality. Was it something that just occurred in my head? Was it like a dream, or was it the real thing? Did I have a tree of life experience, a God experience? And each time I went looking for the pieces of the puzzle in libraries, those pieces were there. They just had to be looked for. It's like having the answers for an exam. You got the answers and you look for the questions. I mean, it's double easy, isn't it?
Pretty awesome. So Wayne, if I can ask you, what did you do before this happened to you, as far as like for work or for income, or what were you doing in your life before this happened?
Yeah, gosh, going that far back, I was actually working in a tire company as a technician, a tire tech. So at that stage, I was just working, long hours. Didn't really have that much time to go to libraries. This is before internet days. This is
right, of course.
89-ish. Anyway, we didn't have easy access to internet or anything like that. So it was actual libraries and books and bringing them home. And I started just making big files. So from then onwards, and once we got into the internet age, wow. I mean, then everything just is at your hands.
That's awesome, man. So you've been able to amass an amazing body of research. As I told Jeff, I've been following you for probably like 5 years or so. And, I'm always reading your stuff. I bought a lot of your books. I read the book that, that I got from you 3 years ago, which I think the Taurus book. But anyway, I don't want to, keep talking. I know you've done an extensive amount of research. I know you've been attacked multiple times. We've tried to put obviously interviews together with you. So Jeff and I are very blessed and fortunate to have you here tonight. So, feel free to share what your truth and what you've been able to uncover. And again, I want to say this, like Wayne's Facebook threads are fascinating. I mean, I know a lot of people in the Decoders of Truth, and I know a lot of people in the quote unquote esoteric alternative research community are very fascinated by your work and are very, obviously proud of like what you've been able to do because you've been attacked, to do this. So anyway, I just wanted to say that from me to you. Just take the floor is yours, man.
And sure. Wayne, I wanted to just share with you, you and I have a very similar background in some respects. I was a minister for 20 years and started realizing that things weren't adding up. And I can remember being in my living room, Wayne, with books spread out across the whole living room, going from page to page and looking and searching back before the days of the internet. And I have a lot of respect for you to know that you're a person that got to the place where you weren't looking for the easy answers. You weren't wanting to believe what everyone told you. You went back and discovered and found answers for yourself. And I salute you for that. And we look forward to hearing some of the results of those many years of research.
Yeah, thanks. You've got links, I think, on your blogs, just for the website for people that are wanting to look for it. It's thehiddenrecords.com.
Yep.
Thehiddenrecords.com.
Yeah. Talking about attacks, I mean, the last 10 years, since I did a TV show and did Coast to Coast Radio, that was when the heat was on. My books were being cyber attacked, so the visibility for bookstores to try and look for the book, it just kept disappearing. But the actual bookstock, tons and tons of books that I had with an investor syndicate of people that have good hearts and very generously, obviously, for developing the project. It was self-published. We got the books into the United States and to the UK at a great cost. I mean, in our currency, it cost a fortune. And we're talking about 5 tons of books that had to go, to different places around the world. And that stock, I spent the next 10 years rescuing. I mean, the people that have watched my Facebook have seen, how many times I've been looking for ways to rescue books. I mean, that's how it's been. But more recently, since the Atlantis story, my car got smashed up in a very secure parking lot, to the point where the insurance company came along and said, "Sorry, dude, this is a write-off."
Wow.
The video cameras didn't show it. It's in our own private residence, and somebody got a hired vehicle and just rammed it.
Wow.
So, really. So, basically, I've been on the move. We've had people follow us. We've had all kinds of threats. So, it's just a situation now where I've decided, like, it's so bad. I mean, the costs involved in just keeping it going. We've had to start a GoFundMe project, which is quite a big thing in America. I didn't know they were that effective. And we're doing that now, literally as an all-out. It's now that it's saved, or this is all just going to slip away into the dark. So that's the big drive at the moment. And what I've also done for this time period with the GoFundMe project is to release my strongest material. I've got new stuff coming out for the next few weeks. I've just launched one yesterday, a Petroglyph in Las Vegas. I don't know if you saw that one. I'll show it to you just now. It's a petroglyph showing the Helios god 6,000 years ago. I mean, really, it looks like the Statue of Liberty. But it's got a star map with it, and it shows the interaction with the Tree of Life, stargates. We'll go through all that from the petroglyphs in a few minutes. So should we start the slideshow? Do you want to go into that?
Absolutely. Wayne, have you heard anything about one of my friends or one of my subscribers in Vegas says that not too far off the strip, there's I don't know if they called it a portal or a vortex. Have you heard anything about that?
Yeah, there's a lot of claims about something in that area. We're trying to find the exact pinpoint of where this pictoglyph is. It's apparently through a bit of a canyon area. And according to the pictoglyphs, it shows they've even built mounds on the ground, like the Cahokia mounds.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's a tradition throughout all American Indian origins, is building these mounds to map out the Pleiades. You ask any Cherokee, Cahokia, Sioux, all of them, all believe that their ancestors came from that star area. So, I reckon this is just another one in that area that just needs to be found. So there might be mounds.
I don't think it's a coincidence that you have, Area 51, you have the Tonopah Pass base. You have so many secretive, places from not just obviously the Indian sacred sites and stuff, but also from the United States military and the black government. They've all set up shop out there. So it's definitely like a focal point, in the Western hemisphere for anomalous activity. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'll get the slides up.
You bet. Take the con, Wayne.
Okay. That's the one. Where the screen? Let's double check that. Are we there? Yeah. There.
You are there. We're seeing your desktop now. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you got to start from the beginning. I think the two cave paintings and the Göbekli Tepe site. So the closest to the beginnings of humanity, other than Atlantis, where they are showing a star map. The bull, I don't know, can you see my cursor?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So the back of the bull, this drawing here, pretty interesting. The people living in a cave in Lascaux in France drew the bull, and scholars agreed, okay, it could be the Pleiades here, but they don't want to say that, why they chose a bull for Taurus in the Stone Age. That doesn't go with what history teaches us. It was supposed to be something that evolved much later. And they drew a little dotted line. Can you see this, or is my buttons in the way?
No, we see it.
Oh, good, yeah, because I'm seeing my buttons. Okay, so there's something that looks like a human face in there.
I see it.
Right down here, this is more than likely Orion, showing the way to it. Because if you look at the next slide,
wow,
there's Orion, Taurus, Pleiades. So, I mean, this is an identical sort of star map, isn't it?
Fascinating stuff.
That's crazy.
And that's supposed to be in the vicinity of about 14,000 years old.
Wow.
That's in France, Pleiades.
Incredible.
So there it is. That's where it really begins. And in that cave, there's a little bit more as well to back it up. But I'm just going to keep to the basics today just to show the good stuff. This is the aerial view of Göbekli Tepe.
People are obviously not just beating each other over the head with clubs and dragging people around with their hair.
Okay, it's in Turkey. It's an ancient site in Turkey in the, would you believe, the Taurus Mountains? No coincidence.
Yeah, that's astonishing. Look at the bull, dude.
Yeah.
It's all right here. It's always been right in front of all of us. It's just no one's been able to figure this out.
Yeah. Okay, I'll put a little bit of a green line around, but what you've got here is a strange wall shape over here. The horns of the bull, there's the eye. This is an old ancient piece of structuring, but there's just a very, very slight line where I've filled in these day-glow green colors.
That's amazing.
But the actual stone circles that they're digging up here are in this pattern. I mean, you can really see the Pleiades is pretty obviously there. I'll show you some of the slides as well. That is what each dwelling looked like. Okay, each let's call them supports for the roof with T-shaped items. They've got this T-shaped structure all inside. Here's another one, the side view. The theory by the experts today, all the historians that have looked at it, are calling these structures stone circles, but they are dwellings. These are something that they lived in because they were sunk into the ground, and then these would obviously hold up some sort of roof structuring. I think I've got a recreation of what it probably looked like. Now, of course, the argument was that the ancients, when they left the site, according to a lot of people, Graham Hancock, Robert Duval, there's a whole bunch of them that have followed the scientist that was working, the historian, who claimed the site was buried. I reckon that's unlikely, because these roofs, an Ice Age dwelling would look like this. They'd put a huge mound for insulation over it, and they'd come through into a completely insulated environment. Remember,
so Wayne, this is actually the precursor to the mounds of the North American and South American mound builders, correct?
Pretty much, but this is a really big interior space. It's like a home inside there.
Unbelievable.
They would have fires burning, they'd have a chimney, they'd have all kinds of things working here. So this is an Ice Age insulated dwelling. It's the only way to survive, like you're experiencing in the Minneapolis area right now. Imagine living like that, for every season. You need to live in this sort of environment or you die. So when this all collapsed, when the beams became rotten and this all falls in, you get that. It doesn't mean it's been buried by human hand. It means it's just basically collapsed into a flat nothing. So it looks like everything is buried and it was never a mound. So
makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that's just explaining the simple sort of, there's the circles we've been talking about there. That's all that's left now. They've excavated them. And there's that exit mark spot right there. And then, of course, in the Lascaux map, you've got this human face. And, of course, we'll discuss why it's a human face. So there's two ancient sites, similar age, 17,000 years, 16,000 years ago. That's the way that they showed the star map. But as civilization developed, you'll see obviously the megalithic civilizations seem to just like start from scratch. How did they just start as megalithic civilizations? looking at petroglyphs all around the world, pictoglyphs and petroglyphs. This is the Tassili rock paintings in the middle of the desert, close to the Dogon tribe area, Mali, that sort of area. In the middle of the Sahara Desert, it was once a green area. So that's pre whatever ended our ice age. Probably a meteoric impact event that I believe ended the ice age, flooded the whole of the northern hemisphere. This is one example of an ancient astronaut, but what I liked about it was this here. I'm pretty sure that's a Pleiades.
Yeah,
seven.
There it is, 7. Yeah.
Added to it. That's just one of them. Of course, it doesn't look very human. It's got these weird things on top of this head. Is it a sun disk, or is that the actual person's head? And that's like a neck. I think that's probably the head. That's one of them with the Pleiades on. I don't know if you've seen this one. This is in Nevada near Highway 50. Has anybody seen this one yet?
I've never seen this.
I've seen this in a book that I read.
Oh, really? Because I've still got to prove that it's real. Everybody that's seen it say that there was like moss and lichen and stuff inside the cracks that are very tiny. So it's been there for a while. But what's amazing about this flying hat or a UFO, whatever you want to call it, if you look at the close detail, you have to really look closely. Looks like fire beneath it over here.
It does.
And if you look very carefully here, he's a little stick man.
Oh, there he is, yeah.
Yep. And there's this like some kind of a blast wave hitting him. This is like the Travis Walton abduction experience. Yeah.
It looks like it.
Yeah. With a beam of light being shot at the guy. So that's one really fantastic UFO shot. Okay, looking at this is San Juan del Oro in Bolivia, different part of the world now. And in Bolivia, we have these weird rayed beams of light coming from these men with arms outstretched, and a dude doing something up here with a spiral.
Wow.
Okay, the spiral is pretty amazing because you're going to see that's everywhere in Nevada, especially Nevada, but all around the world as well. You have these weird pictoglyphs and stories with bull-headed deities and such. But this one, I was
Wayne, don't the Hopi refer to these as the ant people?
Ant people or the Kachinas. Definitely.
Yeah, Kachinas and the ant people. Yeah.
Okay, having a look at some of the bull-headed deities. Okay, this is another one. This is in Nevada again. Dude with cow horns. I believe that's the bull-headed crown, just to stay off Taurus. And this is amazing. This looks like a whole galaxy right here. I don't know what else it could be.
It really does.
But there's like star positions and paths being traced between stars. That's probably as simple as it is there. So watch how this develops. Okay, much more detail of some sort of a portal opening, bull-headed deities or ant people, as you say, bull-headed deity down here. And he's got this weird pointy device in the right hand. Just remember the shape of this weird device. I think that's some kind of electronic device that activates the wormhole opening.
Wow.
Sounds far-fetched. This one is in the Panther Cave in the Pecos region, southwest Texas. I didn't even know they had a picture like this. I mean, look at this. That isn't a Stargate, I don't know. This is the ramp going into it and all the little footsteps going into the ramp. And then there's the dude with arms outstretched, same sort of thing, weird kind of bullhorn, more modern sort of looking kind of a head.
Wayne, are you familiar at all with Star Trek?
Of course.
This kind of reminds me of that Guardian of Forever they had on one of the Star Trek episodes where all the time was going on in here and people could step through and go to any time they wanted to.
Wow. But if you take the movie Stargate, you know what?
Yeah.
These guys that made that film, I am convinced they have part of let's call them a select society, very privileged society that have seen things.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure those things are a reality. We need a whole different program for doing the Stargate, proving the Stargates, because there's evidence, especially with the Maya, of these devices.
Looking at this, fantastic.
This is another part of the world. My buttons are blocking the title here. I can't see it, but it's the Polish site near somewhere, Tarapa or something. Look at the Pleiades here. There we go.
Peru.
7 dots. There we go. Peru. That's
there we go again.
That's amazing.
Yep, 7 dots.
Look, we know by now. Our progenitors come from the Orion complex. It's been told to us a million times. We know.
Yeah, Orion is used to show the way. That's the way show, following Orion's belt. We'll go through that just now. But if you follow this Pleiades little area here, It goes right around and goes into a cosmic serpent down here, and then there's this omega shape. This is the most common sort of shape for the portal opening in this cosmic serpent. It's a serpent.
Wow.
Let's describe the serpent as a plasma ribbon.
A plasma ribbon.
Wow.
Yep.
And this is what the tunnel of light is, that souls go down when they die. This is what the stargates use, wormholes with plasma ribbons that connect up.
Right, because all we are is light. We're biophotons. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's like supercharged particles that these wormholes use or propagate. The tree of life is a real thing, and it's one giant big plasma tree, if you can call it that, that's flowing through the cosmos, and souls go in through the roots of the cosmic tree, and new souls being born come out the top of it.
And Wayne, if you were trying to keep people from leaving a domain that you were in charge of, you'd probably want to prevent their access to the tree of life, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah. They built something around it to protect it, definitely. It's like a biosphere, definitely. Okay, Inga site in Brazil. Ladies. Now we have some X's that mark the spot. There's one, there's two. Third one here has got a big piece of rock that flaked off a very long time ago, because it's even eroded again. So you can see even where the flake came off.
Yes.
It's just half of a star. These are 3 sunlight star positions in my opinion. And then, of course, then there's 4 dots. And notice in the middle of it, right there, that's the cross. There's Orion. Orion shows the way to Pleiades. So basically what we're seeing is that.
Look at that.
And the portal up here. The portal is next to this one here, which is we've coined it Sol 1. This is the most common one you'll see in the stories. There's the one right next to where the portal opens out of the 3. I'll show you the 3 stars up close just now.
Wayne, do you think that sometimes sun stars tend to be related to portals?
Well, yeah, I think every star is using these plasma ribbons that flow through the cosmos. It's as if the tree of life parts flow through every single star, and the sun-like stars obviously are the main destinations, because there's exoplanets for life, and this is what they travel down in some mysterious way, altering time and space. There's some kind of amazing design that the creator of the universe has made for advanced souls to travel through in flesh and blood.
So this is the ancient advanced Rand McNally.
Wow.
All right, here's another one. North Hegman, Lake Minnesota. This is now in the Minnesota area where the big freeze is. There's a dude with arms outstretched. We have 7 red dots again above his shoulder. A burst of light here. Is it a sun? Is it a celestial ship? But it's also on the back of an animal, so it's very hard to call on this one. But of course, we're looking at Pleiades obsession right now, and these people with their arms outstretched. So that shows a lot, but not as much as the others. This is a very famous one. I'm sure you've seen this on Ancient Aliens, and
right.
A lot of people have used this one because of the portal. It's so emphasized here. Here's that sun again, but now it's on his side, as if it's like something he's telling a story about. Orion is everywhere here. There's one with the tree of life. Orion, and it connects to the tree of life to show the way, perhaps, to find the tree of life. There's another Orion up here. But what's very interesting for me is that little bit down there. You see it?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Pleiades again. Most likely Pleiades. Bull-headed, crowns, Taurus, a hand. Perhaps it's another imprint to show humanity. And he's got this rod device. It's like a different-looking device now.
So, Wayne, in your opinion, obviously, theoretically, are these beings like us, humanoid, hominid, upright?
Absolutely. The whole human record thing is mainly human encounters. That's number one. Let's say call that a 70% exposure to human, all races,
right,
of human star visitors, visiting, again, all races of humanity on the planet. And the second one is a beauty. The little gray entity. The biblical references refer to this childlike entity as a cherubim. The gray entity is a big deal as per watching over the cosmic tree and watching over life. Yeah. And the Ankh symbol is designated from the strange shape of their heads. We'll cover a bit of that in the later show as well. That's pretty amazing.
That is amazing.
There's another Canadian one, Nicola Lake, British Columbia. think that's in Canada, isn't it, British Columbia?
It is. That's Western Canada.
And what do we have up there?
Look at that again.
Yeah, Pleiades. This guy has stuff coming from his head. A lot of little dots, probably many stars or many planets.
So Wayne, are you, from a timeline standpoint, are you saying or believing that this is like pre-flood, but after Atlantis, from a timeline understanding?
You know what? I think it's the other way around. I think it's after the flood. I think it's after such a terrible cataclysm with this impact event that I think ended the Ice Age. They're finding remnants of it now in the North Pole. I've shown where a bigger one is, and it's so big that scholars need to assess it still. But I think the reason these people are reverted back to drawing without writing is it's probably 2 or 3 generations living in absolute hell. With just survival, eating frozen meat for the next few years. It must have been, I would say, anything up to 70 years living in a dark age where the sun, there was so much debris in the atmosphere. It probably took more than one life expanse of 70 years or so before it cleared up and became normal again. So these people were
this was their entertainment.
Yeah, people with just the clothes on their backs literally survived as living like cavemen again. And but the strange thing is, it must have been so long because there's no writing. You expect to see advanced pictoglyphs or symbols in writing languages, but most of them are all pictographic, which is just telling a story and telling the children, perhaps in a cave, what our ancestors are about, or a cosmic teacher coming down many years later. Because if it went on for 100 years, maybe they were revisited again and taught of their origins.
Amazing.
Here's another one. Okay, there's the Omega. There's the portal. There's an Omega symbol with the window inside the portal. 7 stars. Dudes with arms venerating it. That could be an Orion hunter. But this one shows the 7 stars inside the portal of the Omega shape. And this is in Utah. This is a nice one with a cave of hands. They spray pigment over their hand shapes, and there's white ones down here as well. Now, this white pigment, whatever they use, is covering a very important element to the star map, because what we have here is perhaps a portal opening joined with many dots to one big dot with 7 small dots.
There it is.
Yeah. Sun-like star Pleiades. And if that's true, remove the hand. I've done this very carefully. It looks like just a blob, really, but there's another blob there. So we have one here, one there. The points, maybe that's that activation of the portal device. Right. And then there's the third one here. So portal. I can't even remember how I took this the last time. Yeah, there they are. 3 suns, and that is just the portal. And that is either an earth sign or the symbol for that mechanism that is used to open the portal.
Wayne, is it common that it's a triangulation of 3 stars?
Well, it's just 3 suns. I'll show you exactly with a picture of the Pleiades with those 3 suns in that area. It is a triangulation.
Gotcha. Yeah, so it's all the same place. Yeah.
So this triangulation part is the womb, according to ancient Egypt, of Nut, because it makes a triangle womb shape. The as above, so below. The triangle pointing down. This is the triangle formation, the Tau. That is formed from those 3 suns. This is in the Utah area still, the Manila petroglyph. Again, in the top here, it's probably 7 stars. I've done this one next to it because this one's a bit complicated. There's some of them showing 3 dots inside the man. So he's personifying either with male anatomy or that's quite a big male anatomy. Otherwise, he himself is the Orion man. They usually show with 1 dot on each side and the one for the navel, the belly button, the 3, and a portal opening again. It shows a bit of a burst of light. This burst of light thing in a portal, is that an Omega symbol? We can say in this one. Yeah. It's really, really hard to call. But it's the same sort of thing. And I think that's probably the sun on top of his head, like the Egyptian show. And then maybe the window to the 7 stars, that could be the portal there. But there's also something happening here. Oh, that's from his hand. That's probably from his device.
Right, exactly.
But they're all showing a similar sort of pattern. There's more of them. I mean, look at this one here, the dude with this, the 3 suns, and perhaps our sun being the connection between the three as above and then our sun below and above his head. And then he's got this funnel. It's actually a 3D funnel, in my opinion, from his one arm.
Oh, that makes sense.
Okay, looking at some of the Adam and Eve depictions, this is a beauty because it shows really what we should be looking at as a big stargate. And
oh, yeah.
the name for Adam and Eve, you go to all the original Hebrew words. What are they derivative from? Adam is human. The word in Hebrew to give life is the word Eve.
Eve.
I mean, so the first humans were taken to this place, the cosmic tree, and this serpent is part of the cosmic tree. So that was quite a beauty. I just wanted to show that there's probably stargates involved to the first humans being taught at the tree of life and told by the people that took them there not to eat of the fruit because they would probably take all the evil knowledge to go and rape, pillage, and plunder, which is probably what happened.
Yeah. Interesting.
They're the Hebrew words, Elohim, Adam and Eve. Eloi and Him. It's a split Hebrew derivative. Eloi, people, Him, heavens. I think it's that way around. So if the Genesis text is let Adam and Eve have dominion over the earth and reassess what they mean, it's saying those who came from the heavens said that humans have life and dominion over the earth. It's a whole different passage, isn't it?
It is. And actually, being a former minister and a Bible college graduate, what you've just put there is in perfect harmony with the literal translation of the original Hebrew in Genesis.
Wow, that's amazing. I was still unsure about the exact which one was which was heavens, which was people. But the most important thing is people from the heavens. It's plural. There's many of them.
Mm-hmm. Well, Wayne, think about it. If they came here, whoever the Elohim were, if they came to this place and created the heavens and the earth, then they had to be from somewhere other than this heavens and the earth, didn't they?
Absolutely. We're looking at secret society here. This is the Rosicrucian records of the sacred feminine. She is has the three sons.
Wow.
There's the womb of Nut, the Egyptian son being born from her womb. And they show them with crescents because there's a crescent to the world in front of them. But from one of them, it's showing the link to the cluster of what I think is the Pleiades here. And these are like drawings of the stars that are going around the earth. The whole amazing thing about this is the chains to this. And you see it's an ape.
Yeah.
Yes.
An ape sitting on the earth. This is explaining, in my mind, first evidence of Homo. Here's Homo sapien, right? Homo is invading the earth, an alien invasion of human Homo sapiens sapiens that took over the land of the Neanderthals. So before humans, the Neanderthal was there. Those poor hominids were invaded. They probably got our diseases and became extinct. And the chains between the two is this secret is under lock and key. And there's a chain also of the sacred feminine to the portal to heaven. All of this is secret knowledge for the elite.
So, Wayne, are you saying that just trying to recap what you said, that the ape people were invaded the earth that was inhabited by the Neanderthals?
No, the apes were.
No, the other way around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so in other words, modern humans came here, I'd say about 17,000 years ago, instead of colonies on Mars and on Earth. And this is the poor chap that was invaded. The ape, Neanderthal, was just learning how to paint, how to draw, how to...
Gotcha.
I don't think they could make fire, but they were pretty good hunters. But they probably caught our diseases. It was probably not intentional, but they probably died from our human-carried alien
Well, the
diseases.
archaeological record shows that a very mysterious sudden extinction of Neanderthal.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So Wayne, let me ask you something then. I want to try to tie this together. So if this was 17,000 years ago and this humanoid, maybe really very tall humans from Mars came because of this, if you read Zelkowski, Worlds in Collision, there was some sort of a cataclysm, right, in the solar system.
Yeah, pretty much so. That event that ended the Ice Age was what began as probably a time when there was advanced settlement only. Obviously, pyramid cultures, Atlantis,
right? The
Sumerians, the first Mayan pyramids, Tikal, they were very, very old. We're still arguing over the age of those because I think they're way older. There's a group there of 7 of pyramid mounds that I'll show you just now with the star map.
So do you think then these are the people, though, that built all of those ancient monumental, historical pyramids like Göbekli Tepe and then all the pyramids? Are you saying that you would think it's these humanoids from Mars?
Yeah, I think from these 3 suns in the Pleiades, and probably a whole big colonization event from Mars, when Mars was destroyed at the time of this impact event. It's very hard to call. I mean, both Mars and Earth suffered. I mean, we had one impact event, we had a flood, but Mars was totally annihilated. So
yes,
it must have been, that was the jewel of the solar system. If you look at Mars, it has a similar day to ours. It has the gravity that's more appropriate to our very weak skeletal structure. I mean, if we fall from, let's say, a 6-foot-high rock, we start breaking bones. I mean, what animal has that stupidity? We've got bones that are more like birds. They're porous. So we've evolved in a much lower gravity like Mars, but from the area of the Pleiades. So Mars would have been the most beautiful place imaginable, where we have superpowers. Imagine, Jay, with your fitness, having Mars gravity, you could do a double back somersault out of bed in the morning. How cool would that be?
That's fascinating, though, that you state that if, here you fall from 6 feet, you're going to break a leg. On Mars, if you fell from 6 feet, you're not going to break a sweat.
Right.
Yeah. I reckon you'd feel more alive on Mars, and you'd be far more physically active because it's just really fun and quite exhilarating.
But now, that's also
would you live longer as well on Mars? Is that why maybe some of the first people that came here lived so much longer?
That's a hard one to call. That's a very good thought. I haven't actually thought about that. That could be possible. Maybe there's less solar radiation too, because we're too close to the sun, and as you know, we have skin cancers, blindness, cataracts, and probably just solar radiation destroying our cells and aging us quicker maybe than normal. That's a good point.
Yep.
Do you want to have a break between the slides and talk, or do you want to keep going?
No, keep going.
No, keep going. This is fascinating.
I'm sorry. If you guys hear something, my cleaning company, I just realized, is out there. I was like, what is going on? And now I realize it's my cleaning.
No, we're good, Jay.
Okay, sorry about that.
Now there's a few remnants showing the knowledge of the cross of the sky, the cross of the churches originated from a star formation, and they've tried to explain this one here away as being mapping out the southern hemisphere. But this is one that shows Orion positioning, the Orion stars. And in this particular document, it's really ancient, it's an explorer. He's measuring with dividers and an astrolabe, the star measuring device, this cross, and it's on the horizon. This is how the ancients measured Orion. There's something very important. Obviously, Orion shows the way to find the Pleiades. So I just wanted to throw that one in there, looking at it closely. And of course, they've thrown in the Christian cross here, this is a pure descriptive graphic. It isn't the crucifixion happening here. This is an explorer, modern, more modern. It's around about the time of Christopher Columbus. And of course, they're showing it. This is the connection here. These two, esoteric, illuminated knowledge, is the connection between the two of them here.
So Wayne, let me ask you a question about this. And obviously, this is an opinion question. But how many people on the planet right now, at this high level, Masonic, secret society, whatever you want to classify it as, how many people do you actually think right now on this planet know what we're talking about, like chapter and verse?
Yeah, that's a tough question because it's evolved. When I first started, I had a lot of Freemasons visit my talks, shake my hand and say to me, gosh, this is what they've been looking for, because they cover it in Freemasonry, but never define it. They just generalize it that it's important stars, Pleiades are important, Orion's important, but they also take other stars into account, Sirius, and it starts getting very confusing, but it's been lost. And since I've got this out, amongst their own brotherhoods, the Rosicrucians, Templars, Masons, they're all reassessing it. There's also a certain amount of kind of, who am I to be questioning this and talking about it, because I'm not a Mason. And, they ask me, you have to join to be more, free speaking about the subject, because it's really their subject. And I said, gosh, I don't want to join anything that I don't know what I'm joining. And a couple of Masons whispered to me afterwards, Jeepers, if you do that, you're sworn to secrecy. They don't want the world to know too much about this yet. They don't think it's the right time. I think it's just a matter of they don't want anybody to know about aliens, because it's the world, powers that be, the 1% population seem to benefit by keeping humanity in war, in religious war, racial differences. the chaos, the sense. This is what keeps the wheels of great profits and the highest of high making a lot of money. So there's this negative sort of aspect towards it.
Do you think though, so we agree, Jeff and I know agree, but do you think that we're closer to the unravel where humanity is going to be awakened to the truth, or are we still a long ways away? I mean, obviously it's an opinion question.
Yeah, this is a big deal. And I couldn't answer this properly before last year. While I was researching the Atlantis story, starting from 2010, 2011, the site that I knew was Atlantis, I used to use Google Earth and go look onto it. Suddenly, a 3-mile wide alien message was carved into. I'm just going to stop the before we talk about that. How do I get back to the screen view share? Just looking how to get back to my normal screen.
You just put stop share.
Yep.
Oh, stop share. Okay. There we go. Yeah, while we're talking about that, the amazing thing is in this area of Atlantis, a 3-mile wide crop circle appeared, the largest ever crop circle imaginable. Now, you know how crop circles push down the crop itself and make beautiful circular patterns. It's not much energy involved in pushing the crop flat into circles. Imagine one that's 3 miles wide that actually pressed indents into the ground, making in an area that's a floodplain into 96 lakes, 3 miles wide. We'll show you pictures of it later, but we need a whole story for Atlantis. I want to verify more effectively. It takes a lot of time, proving the canals, proving the island, the continent. We'll do that at another time. But I'll show you the basis of it today and the alien message. That drew out Orion rising and setting, and the exit marks the spot, and then a code with a date. And that date on it was between 2018 to 2019. Last year, I thought it was definitely going to be 2018, around about Christmas. That's the time when these stars are celebrated in ancient past, the Christmas tree, the Bethlehem star, it's all human origin star. So nothing happened. I mean, we're in 2019 now, and I reckon it's all about to unfold. I think we're going to have a proper first contact event. We're going to be visited, whether we like it or not. And I think the cosmic messenger is going to explain a lot more than what I'm showing. I'm hoping that what I've got is a foundation to reference it, but I think there's going to be some human form that'll probably take over our TVs. Imagine watching TV one day and then suddenly it's taken over by another signal. I reckon we'll all get to see it. That's the only way it's going to be safe. No alien is going to step foot on this planet because they'll be arrested and locked away. So it's going to be a message how to save ourselves. Nobody's going to be taken away to another planet and be saved and ascending in that way. It's basically how we can fix the Earth. The Earth's in crisis. We're about to go to war. There's so much human suffering. Now more than half of the population is literally enslaved to the matrix. So things have got to change. We're hardworking people, especially the poor, have a better reward. And this is going to probably be the story. And my whole mission at the moment is revealing 7 of these amazing truths. Today we're covering just one, which is the star maps. There's more. There's this Atlantis story. There's the alien message, the tree of life, how it works, all this sort of thing. There are 7 amazing truths that actually can uplift humanity, bridge the difference between religions, bridge the difference between race. And I mean, one of the star maps is the 4 big icons of the 4 big religions. I'll show you just now. They all split the star map up into 4 pieces. I mean, how does it happen that our biggest religions are using one piece, 1/4 of the star map? I mean, with the Christian cross is obvious, that's Orion. But the menorah is the Hebrew one. That's 7 celestial lights, ladies. Then, of course, Islam adapted their ancestors, the Sumerians, had the crescent, the sickle crescent. It's 2 orbs, one in front of the other, an exoplanet and a sun. It can't possibly be the moon and the sun. So, and then, of course, the Hindu belief, they use the arm symbol, which is a Taurus bull, with the X that marks the spot on the back. I'll show you all these pictures. It's hard to take it in.
This is amazing.
Yeah, so it's a really big story. Should we get back to the slideshow?
Please do.
Okay, so what do I click? Share?
Right, click share screen. It's down there in the middle. It says share screen.
Be back. We got it?
You got it. We got it. We see it.
Okay, my computer's having a little bit of a zombie. Just processing, I think. Yeah, my cursor's showing that it's processing. Just looking at some ancient Christian pictures here. Is it a Tau cross or is it the actual Orion cross? It could be both. There's some tradition that shows the one down here being the Tau. It's a T-shaped cross for the 3 sun stars, the triangulation. But then, of course, look above them. These are them actually in position here. One above his head, and then the 2 in the background. It's not sun and moon. It's one with a crescent in front of it. We've been taught to believe that it's a crescent of the moon, but it's a sickle crescent. And there's faces on them to describe life. And of course, the Christian one is the X that marks the spot. The third one, the bottom part of the triangulation. That one there. Try another slide. I've got a bit of a problem here with my computer overloading. If I bomb out, you might have to dial me up.
It looks like you might be frozen, huh?
Yeah. Let me just try to stop share again. We out?
You're out.
Okay. My cursor is panicking in the slideshow. I don't know what's going on. Try to do it again. Oh, we could be under cyber attack again because it does open a back door and weird stuff's happening already. I can't move my slides. My slides are frozen.
Well, maybe we can. Jay, do you have any questions at this point until Wayne's slides unfreeze, or we can just take this wealth of information and maybe talk about this for the next couple of minutes before we sign off?
Yeah, no. So yeah, I have a bunch of questions, and I don't want to keep you that long. We'll knock this thing off in 10 minutes, and we'll have you on again another time, Wayne. But as I was telling you, I've been reading a lot about the Essenes, and it's my belief now, from my understanding of the Essenes, that this Essene group, and Jeff knows a lot about the Essenes from his religious background, but they were living amongst human civilization, but by themselves. They had their own culture. They were presenting, a totally different realm or existence of thought. They did not have money. They were not connected to the Sumerians or the Babylonian money magic system and trade and barter and all that. I have a feeling that they were these descendants from the Pleiades that were still here. And as I told Jeff the other day, again, it's just a wild guess, but I've read a lot about this. I believe that Jesus was from the Pleiades too, or somewhere in that constellation area. And when he came back, and the Essenes, we know from all this regression hypnosis that Dolores Cannon did, that the Essenes were his teachers. And so when he was gone for that 20 years where, they said he was in the desert or whatever, he was being trained by the Essenes. Is it possible you think that the Essenes were this progenitor race that allowed, Jesus came back, probably from the stars, again, the word, not Jesus Christ, the Roman myth, but Jesus, the word, and he came here, and that the Essenes were training him. What do you think about that? Is that possible to you?
Yeah, definitely. In the Revelation text, remember the cosmic messenger, which we think is the Christ type of person coming back, or somebody that's probably just a different person with the same messenger title, or reincarnation of the Christ himself. It's hard to say.
That's what you said, right? With the word,
yeah.
Right?
He holds 7 stars in his hand. Now, a big part of my work, when I get my slides back, which probably isn't going to be today, I'm frozen at the moment.
Yeah.
Is the Alpha Omega verse in Revelation. This is amazing because this is a huge part of one of my releases, is what the Alpha Omega line means. Maybe he's saying, I am the Alpha Omega, and the beginning and the end. Something to do with that. The Alpha symbol has been decoded by scholars that took it right back to the first earliest script, and they said it's the Aleph symbol, and it's a Taurus. Well, it's a bull. It's a bull that has a head tilted at an angle, and that tilting angle, which I'll show you in the slide at a later date. They didn't want to say Taurus, but they just said it's bull worship, and that's how it was in the ancient times. For some reason, they worshiped the bull. But the Alpha symbol represents the bull worship syndrome. And of course, I can show you how that Taurus aspect now starts to play a bit of clarity into that sentence, because the second word is the Omega. The Omega symbol is the Stargate. But I need to show you how it's proven in every ancient culture, using variations of it to showing the actual devices. And you can see how the Omega shape is derived from an O with a ramp at the bottom of it. So it's saying that they're from a Stargate. This person is showing the 7 stars in his hand and saying, I'm from the Taurus Stargate. Doesn't get any clearer.
Wow. That's
amazing stuff. Just absolutely amazing. It really
Jeff,
is.
like you just said, Jesus himself said, I am not from this world.
Right. He literally said, I am not of this world. You get into the original Greek, Jesus said, I'm not from this world. I come from somewhere else.
Has anybody seen the Judas Codex?
The Jesus Project?
The Judas Codex. It's the book of Judas.
Judas Codex.
I have seen it.
Yeah, because I did a National Geographic show on it, and there's some text in there that's called the Lost Judas Secrets. Judas actually talks about his star, and he takes the Christ takes Judas outside after the Last Supper, points up to the star, and he says in the new decoded factual description of words, this star is also your star. And then National Geographic, for some reason, showed 3 stars in a row and a blazing orangey star aligning with the 3. Now, why did they do that? They know something they don't want to say, but they just simplified it, let the picture run, let the story with Judas go. But it was that little aspect. It just shows you stuff that they're revealing now hasn't had a chance to be censored, hasn't been covered up. They haven't changed and twisted it. They've got these texts, they've decoded them, and there they are. And sad to say, that's another star map. The Judas Codex shows the Bethlehem star as being in line with Orion for some reason, and there's some hidden text that might show, or even a description graphic perhaps sketched somewhere that they don't want to show. But they chose to show that by their own accord.
That's amazing. So Wayne, I got to ask you a question. And this is the real riddle, the real, for me, and I know, I can speak a little bit for Jeff too, the confusion. Like, we have so many people in the esoteric research community telling us, we have David Icke, which we're trying to get on our show really close now, talking about the demiurgic inversion. We have the Gnostic teachings talking about Yaldabaoth, the world of the smokeless fire, the opposite of heaven or whatever. Do you think that there are entities, archons, reptilians, again, energetic waveform constructs? What are those in comparison to, the secret societies of masonry and whatever else at the highest levels? Are these all groups that are like here in just existing, independent of another?
I don't think there's anybody other than the human race derivatives. In other words, aliens that are of human lineage that have come from somewhere else on a mission to literally infiltrate and study us. They're probably walking amongst us. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, for sure they are. For sure.
But I've got to be a bit of a skeptic on the other advanced beings, the so-called shape-shifting theory. It's a little bit hard for me to swallow. I don't know. Look, it's quite hard to say, but I bet they're also watching, but I'm not sure they're walking the earth because I don't think it's going to be that easy. But I'm pretty sure there are a lot of advanced beings watching, reptilian or gray alien,
right,
and modern human type genus. But the thing that obsesses me the most about the reptilian story is it's this need for discrimination against religion and race. Because they're reptilian, they've got to be evil. I mean, really?
No, yeah.
What if they're good? I mean, we can't judge. These reptilian species, I would say, are probably got good and bad, just like anywhere else in the cosmos. And I don't see any really obvious records other than a lot of New Age hype with no references. I've tried to study them. The closest sort of biblical text to evil entities are more than likely spirits. I'm not sure that they're flesh and blood creatures that are coming in. Like
astral entities like the Jinn.
Yeah.
The Jinn,
the spirits, yeah, pretty much so. And perhaps even maybe taking over people's bodies, this inhabiting another soul. People have a soul inside them. What they call it? Can't think of the name. But yeah, they need exercising to get this foreign soul out of their existence. Yeah, that's probably as far as it goes. But I think the biggest commonality is human aliens watching over us, and they are probably going to do this messenger event, I think early this year, might even be sooner than we think, because the symbols that they use to show 2019, it's the less than symbol, it's the triangle that goes to the left. And that's the weird part. Is that showing the shape of the UFO, like the Phoenix Lights UFO
Oh,
shape?
wow, it is.
Yeah. So we were arguing between that, and it's going to be late 2018 or early 2019, because of this funny arrow shape stuck in the middle of it. So we'll go through all that at another time. But I'm sorry to say my computer's frozen. I'm scared to touch it in case I lose you guys.
Well, Wayne, we really appreciate all the great information that you've shared with us tonight. It really is astounding, and I know that your hardware got stuck. We wish it hadn't, but it's almost fortuitous, as I don't know how much more our audience can take of this incredible revelation that you've brought to us. And I sure hope that we can convince you to come back at another time and continue to share. I'd love to see you share all of your 7 messages here with us.
For sure.
That'll be great. Look forward to that.
Wayne, it was awesome, man. I really appreciate it. I know it's been a long time we've been talking and we haven't been able to get together. We finally were able to. I'm sorry that you had this happening. As I was telling Jeff, there's a lot of dark energy going around the planet right now. I'm sure a lot of people are dealing with stuff in their relationships and stuff like that. Just remember, love is all that matters, guys. Peace, kindness, love, service to others. That's the only thing that you can do when you feel that energy. But I hope you're right, Wayne. I really do. I really do hope you're right. I hope that we really are close for something changing. Do you believe, before we let you go, last question, do you believe, though, that there is going to be, I think you kind of do based on the wormholes and everything that we're seeing, the portals, but do you think that there will be some sort of an energetic shift, a vibrational shift where we do move into another resonant frequency?
Yeah. It's something that people have to learn. For example, I think the only way the human consciousness can connect with the cosmic tree, because this is really how it worked for me, and I don't think there's any kind of magical thing that happens. And it might sound a bit disappointing, but there is a simple way to develop the mind to connect to source, to connect to the tree of life, all this knowledge, the Akashic records. I went through a series where I was living on my own next to a river on top of a granite hill. I'm very lucky to live in that situation, to develop that usage of my mind in deep altered state. And every morning before I woke up, I would train myself subconsciously to go into a routine to call on the light and guidance.
Yep.
And what happens is the retina, the back of your eye, lights up. Now, how the heck does it do that? And what's happening is you're getting like a biofeedback. The eye obviously works as a receptor for light coming through your lens. Imagine now that there's something spiritual coming through the third eye, perhaps, through your brain, and it's going, feeding your retina with images. So to control those images is a big deal, because the first few times it's so bright and there's 100 images overlaid. You have to pick them out and literally talk to it and ask for what you're doing, ask the question what you're looking for, and then pick a bit of detail and focus on it, and you'll be amazed. That stuff happens, and that's how I work with visions, looking for the star maps, looking for even pieces of text. Would you believe I'd see a book, I'd see a page number, I'd see writing, and then I'd have to go out and look for that book to get the next piece of the puzzle. And that's the part that people can do now and develop it. Look, you can do it with a little bit of earth energy. As I say, I was lucky to live on this granite hill.
Absolutely.
The reason it's inside the Great Pyramid is not by chance. The granite energy links with the cosmic tree. It seems to have some kind of radiation connection that anchors, let's say, that plasma ribbon that's coming through the human form to get to the brain. So yeah, I think that consciousness awakening will happen. So people just need to learn it. And I've already put it up on my oneism.org, oneism.org page, how people can go into that rite. It's called an ancient rite of passage. Basically, no eating meat. I'm sure Jay will agree with this. No, you won't agree with this. He eats steak. But
Wayne, say that website again, the .org website.
Yeah, oneism, ONEISM, oneism.
Oneism.org.
Yeah, I've got the ancient rite there. It's basically you have to go into fasting, not eating meat.
Honestly, the Essene doctrine is the exact same. The Essene doctrine is the exact same.
Powerful.
Yeah, but it's an ancient rite. There's no ways I can say I figured this out. They did it before, and I ended up finding bits and pieces of it in ancient manuscripts and then tested it. I was amazed that if you just get off meat for a while, it's quite amazing. It's as if we're eating a bit of residual animal soul, if you can imagine. That's probably what pollutes the mind into chaos.
Yeah.
So if you're not eating that piece of animal residual soul that's still in that meat, the part of the body veil of an animal, that's what makes it clear to start with. I reckon afterwards, I mean, now eating steaks, and it doesn't really affect me too much because I'm into a habit. But I'm not living in that area anymore. So maybe I've depended more on the river next to me, because the Nile River was a big deal while the pyramids were built, because there's something about water. You know how a person with a divining rod can find water? There's a nerve energy there. Put granite near it, and you've got a magic ingredient. The cenotes underneath the Mayan pyramids, they're all for that design, for this altered state of mind, and for, I think, a Stargate device works on the same base grounding of these plasma ribbons.
Fascinating stuff, Wayne. I really appreciate it. I take a lot of flack for being very positive and optimistic. It's nice to see somebody else with a positive and optimistic outlook towards our outcomes. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll look forward to having you back with us again. Please stay there 1 second so we can say goodbye to you personally. Those of you in the chat room tonight, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being part of The Last Stand. And remember, folks, we are the last generation of real humans. Let's get busy. We'll see you next.